Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. The following tutorial will be discussing how to use the Music Exchange Database Information System. This following video tutorial will go over tables, forms, navigations, queries, reports, and how it can all be used by people within the organization. So first, let's begin with tables. Tables are where all the data is held within the database, essentially. So as you can see, this database comprises of 7 main tables. This switchboard item is not very significant, so don't worry about that. But these ones have all the necessary information regarding the items, so the item model, instrument type and brand, customer tables, order tables, sales position and staff. So let's talk about adding new records within a table. So let's say we want to add a new brand. Essentially, if we're working just with tables, all you have to do is come down here, enter in whatever you need. So let's say 21. So we'll write this as test, and then so that is essentially how you add a new record. Now, in order to edit a table and all these new things, you have to look inside the design view. Within the design view, we have the ability to create new fields or new columns. You can do it from here, but it is very recommended that you do it in design view. In order to do this, let's say we wanted to add a new, I'm not sure, this is just a test, so we'll call this table a test table. And then over here, we can select the data type, and then over here we can add a description. Now down here we can change the sort of settings of the table, so you can change the amount of field types. So for example, if we know that there's possibly no more than possibly 20 characters, we can write 20 to save down size. We can also edit the input masks, so zeros, nines, hashtags, or dictate some sort of number, and you can use those effectively. Okay, so that's pretty much how you create a new field if you feel the need to. And oh no, whoops, okay, there we go, problem solved. So delete that right now, because we don't really need it anymore, just purely for example. So that's pretty much how to deal with tables. Another thing is, if you need to create a table, you can just go over here and create a table, and then you can access design view, you can change the name, and then again you have all the same basic tools as before. So we don't need that, we don't need that. Alright, now moving on to forms and navigation. So the first thing to notice is the methods of navigation. So there are 3 methods of navigation. Firstly, the switchboard. So when you enter the switchboard, as you can see, you can choose forms, for example, and then you click customer, and then you end up on a customer form. And then if you press back and you go into navigation, for example, you can go into the report navigation tab, which allows you to navigate. You don't need to know that for a moment. So yeah, switchboards, first main method of navigation. Oh, should not have clicked that. The next method is the actual navigation forms themselves. So these are essentially forms that allow you to edit each form. So if you go down here, you can change the form size. You can change the form, sorry, and you can go to whichever form you need. I believe I will probably edit this out soon. So this is still in the development stage, but it's all good. Yeah, totally. Now we continue on to reports. Same thing, you can click between tabs. And notice this is a parameter based query from which is based. So if you enter in date, and so this is the first date and the second date, you'll get all the dates in between, but I kind of stuffed that up, but you get the idea. And then within each form itself, you are able to edit the records. So if you click last record, you can create a new record, and then whatever you type in here will be updated in the tables. So 00, oops. Make sure that each ID is unique, so make sure this is unique. 99. Hello. we'll see if this works. So we'll click save this. Now we'll go into the brand table, and there it is. But we don't really need this record. And so yeah, that's how you pretty much edit forms. Now if you want to create a form, so all you have to do is go to the create tab and then click form, and then they'll automatically generate a form that you require. Of course, there is some editing to be involved when you create a form. So if we go into this form, for example, and then we go over here into the design view, we are able to, edit each form, change the headers and all that sort of stuff, which is good. So now we can move on to queries. So queries are essentially selecting what parameters you want, and then the database retrieves those parameters. So we mentioned this one before, we'll do it again properly this time. So this is a parameter based query, and it essentially finds all the data relating to whatever the user inputs. So as you can see, these are all the orders that come from the first date to the second date. Now in order, well actually I'll explain these queries as well. So this is another query which states the staff, and this is a pretty good query, And then we have a all bases query. So this just shows all the products that have all the bases in respective fields. Now in order to create a query, all you have to do is go into I recommend query design. Yes, definitely design. So you select the tables you want. So for example, let's say I want to create a query for all the customers who have a H in their name. So essentially this is what you got to do. You go first name, last name, and this is a query by example. So if you learn what some of these characters means, for example this asterisk, I want to search for people with the letter C in their name, and if I run the query, it'll show all the people who have C's in their names. So that's essentially how you create a normal query by example. If you want to create a query using a parameter, it's very similar. You just use square parentheses. So for example, if they know the specific name, we can go what name, and then when you run, you'll be asked what name, and then I know for a fact it's Fender, so I'll enter Fender, and then I'll get the Fender name from the table. Actually a good idea if I had so it's a good idea to also add relational information. So we can add the brand, country, the warranty amount, and if we run this again, we'll type in Fender, and then now we get in all of the other information. So that's pretty much how you do a query. Now to create a report, the easiest way is to click on the necessary, so you can choose between a query or a table. So let's say a table, we go to report, and once you've created the report, that's pretty much it. That's simple. If you want to change things, you can go into layout view, and you have access to a range of tools. So for example, if you click logo, you can choose whatever logo you want, and then you can edit it. If you want to edit the text, you can. You have that ability to. You also have the ability to format the text, for example, make it ridiculously huge. And yeah, you have a standard bunch of Windows-based sort of tools. Now, if you want to change the columns, you just simply drag that stuff around, and you get whatever you need by creating the reports. So that's pretty much how you deal with the new Music Exchange database information system. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed.